Good day. I will discuss the four-stroke cycle. My name is Maureen R. Ronquillo from BTLEIA 3B. What is four-stroke cycle? Four-stroke cycle is an internal combustion engine process that completes one power cycle in four-piston movement: intake, compression, power, and exhaust. So later, I will discuss the four piston movements. So now let's talk about the parts and function of four-stroke. The first is spark plug. What is the function of spark plug? So it ignites the air-fuel mixture in the combustion chamber using an electric spark. So how does the spark plug works? During the power stroke, the spark plug fires at the right moment. So just before the piston reaches the top dead center, causing an explosion that forces the piston down. The next part is camshaft. Its function is to control the opening and closing of the intake and exhaust valve. So it synchronizes with the piston movement. So how does this work? The camshaft rotates and connected to the crankshaft via timing belt or chain, and it pushes against valve lifters or rockers to open and close valves during the intake and exhaust strokes. The next one is the intake and exhaust valve. The function of intake valve is to let air-fuel mixture enter the cylinder, and the exhaust valve lets burn gases exit. How they work? So, the camshaft controls when these valves open and close. During the intake valve opens to allow the air-fuel or the fuel-air mixture in. The exhaust valve open during the exhaust stroke to release the burn gases. The next one is the coolant passage. So what is the function of this? So it keeps the engine from overheating by circulating coolant, the water, and antifreeze mixture around the cylinder. How does this work? Heat from the combustion is absorbed by the coolant, so which move through these passages, then goes to the radiator where it cools down. So the next one is piston. That's the piston picture. So what is the function of this? Piston moves up and down in the cylinder, converting fuel energy into mechanical motion. So how does this work? In intake stroke, it moves down, sucking in air-fuel mixture. In compression stroke, it moves up, compressing the mixture. And in power stroke, it forced down by the combustion explosion. And the last one, in exhaust stroke, it moves up again to push out the exhaust gases. Now let's talk about the connecting rod. That's the picture of connecting rod. And the function of this is to connect the piston to the crankshaft, transferring the piston's up and down motion into rotational motion. How does this work? When the piston moves down, or the power stroke, the connecting rod pushes the crankshaft, turning in. This one is the crankshaft. So the function of crankshaft is to convert the piston linear motion into rotational motion, driving the vehicle's wheels. So how does this work? The crankshaft rotates continuously with the help of the connecting rod, keeping the engine running through all four strokes. So now let's talk about the components and operation of four-stroke cycle. The first one is the intake stroke. So the intake valve opens and the piston moves down, pulling in an air-fuel mixture. So the purpose of this is to get the fuel and air inside the engine. Think of it like sucking in air through a straw. The next is compression stroke. The intake valve closes and the piston moves up, compressing the air-fuel mixture tightly. The purpose of this is to prepare the mixture for a powerful explosion. Think of it like squeezing a balloon before popping it. The third one is the power stroke or the combustion. What happens? The spark plug creates a spark, igniting the compressed fuel mixture. The explosion forces the piston down again. So the purpose of the combustion is this is where the engine gets its power. Think of it like a tiny controlled explosion pushing the piston down hard. The last one is exhaust stroke. So the exhaust valves open and the piston moves up again, pushing the burn gases out of the cylinder. The purpose of the exhaust stroke is to clean out the chamber for the next cycle. So think of it like blowing out a candle after it burns. Why is this important? This process repeats hundreds of times per minute, so creating power to drive your vehicle. Each stroke plays a critical role. If one fails, the engine won't run properly. It's efficient because the engine uses the same piston movement to inhale, compress, ignite, and exhale, all in one cycle. Thank you!